In a world filled with darkness and shadows, where monsters strike fear into the hearts of many, there existed a man, a legend known as the Witcher. Geralt of Rivia, the famed monster slayer, found himself in a small village in the heart of Transylvania. This village, shrouded in an ever-present mist, was overflowing with rumors of the undead, the very creatures that Geralt had dedicated his life to hunting. Among these monsters was the vampire lord Dracula, who feasted upon the blood of the innocent in order to maintain his immortality. Geralt's arrival in the village was met with a flurry of whispers and fearful glances. The villagers, bearing the marks of terror in their sunken eyes and gaunt faces, sought solace in the Witcher's presence. One such villager, a young maiden named Mina, approached Geralt and shared her sorrowful tale. "Good sir, I beg of you, save us from the terror that haunts our village. My dearest sister has been taken by the bloodthirsty fiend, Dracula. I fear that she will soon be lost to us forever." Geralt placed a reassuring hand on Mina's shoulder, the steel in his voice matching the steel of his sword. "Fear not, young maiden. I will rid your village of this creature of the night and return your sister to your embrace." As night fell, Geralt set off on his perilous journey to reach the heart of darkness, Dracula's castle. This grim fortress stood atop a desolate mountain peak illuminated by ghostly moonlight. Armed with his sacred silver sword and the knowledge of ages, Geralt climbed the treacherous path, guided only by the flickering light of his torch. Upon reaching the castle entrance, Geralt was greeted by a chorus of shrieks and groans from a horde of undead creatures that barred his way. Swift as the wind and deadly as the viper, he fought his way through the horde, his silver sword shining like a beacon of hope against the darkness. Inside the castle, Geralt found himself in a labyrinth of ancient halls and chambers. The very walls seemed to breathe with malevolent energy, whispering dark secrets into his ear. As he traversed the cold stone corridors, he could hear faint echoes of laughter and screams, marking the presence of the vampire lord. Finally, deep within the castle's bowels, Geralt found himself face to face with Dracula himself. The vampire lord stood with a sinister elegance, his pale visage a stark contrast to the dark chamber in which they stood. At his side was Mina's sister, her once vibrant eyes now clouded with the hunger of the undead. Dracula's voice resonated through the chamber, dripping with malice like venom from a serpent's fangs. "Ah, the famed Witcher. I have heard of your exploits, monster slayer, but I assure you, you have never faced a creature such as I." With a roar of battle, Geralt launched himself at the vampire lord, his silver sword flashing in the darkness. The chamber was filled with the sound of clashing steel and crackling magic, as the two legendary beings engaged in a vicious duel. The battle raged for what felt like an eternity, the tide of victory constantly shifting between the two combatants. Just when it seemed Geralt had gained the upper hand, the vampire lord unleashed a flurry of bats to aid him in his fight. But Geralt, filled with a determination that burned hotter than the sun itself, fought on. With a final, brutal strike, he buried his silver sword in Dracula's heart. The vampire lord, unable to withstand the power of the Witcher, disintegrated into a cloud of dust, leaving nothing but a bitter memory in his wake. Mina's sister, freed from the clutches of darkness, collapsed into Geralt's arms, her eyes slowly regaining their former warmth. With the sun rising on a new day, Geralt returned to the village with the rescued sister, his mission complete. The villagers rejoiced, their spirits lifted as the darkness that had once plagued their lives was banished by the light of the Witcher's heroism. And so, Geralt continued on his never-ending journey, a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness, ever ready to face the monsters that lurked in the shadows.